96 on Instagram to see what's
breaking news.
Well, we are going to get to that breaking news in just a second. We're taking a look at bluebird skies out there over Aiken County. It is a beautiful afternoon, just a little bit chilly for the second day of April. We're currently at 53 degrees over in Aiken. Those north winds have been a little bit breezy at times, but not quite as breezy as what we've been. Our current temperatures everywhere in the CSRA is staying below 60 degrees this afternoon, so definitely not warm by any means, but luckily we are expecting slightly warmer temperatures the next couple of afternoons. But we do have one more cold night. Take a look at all these freeze warnings in effect across portions of Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. Pretty much all of Georgia and South Carolina is included in this, and we are expecting those temperatures down below freezing starting early Saturday morning. Here's a look at those projected low temperatures. We got down to 31 degrees this morning here in Augusta. We're expecting upper 20s early Saturday, so once again, just protect any sensitive outdoor plants you have. Outdoor pets, make sure they have a way to stay warm as well. These temperatures are definitely cold enough to hurt any sensitive vegetation, especially any fruit or any veggies that you may have planted in the ground. Definitely cover those because those will be the first to go with cold temperatures. So first alert in effect for that freeze warning heading into our Easter Sunday. Those temperatures do look a good bit warmer for us, at least back to seasonal average highs later into Sunday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine over the next few days. There's no real high rain chances in the forecast until we get to later next week. Once we get past, say, into Thursday and Friday next week, that's when we're expecting our real next system to show up. But it is going to be cold, folks. Once again, these low temperatures early Saturday, it's going to be enough to really cause some damage. Now, if you're worried about your azaleas or maybe a crepe myrtle, anything like that, or trees or shrubbery that kind of blooms a little bit early, these temperatures may be enough to kind of burn off those flowers, but it's not going to be enough to really kill your plants entirely. So this will, for these type of temperatures, if you have potted plants that are sensitive, bring those inside. And then if you have any vegetables that you may have planted into the ground, those are very sensitive to these type of temperatures. Those will die off very quickly. But we'll take a look at the rest of your first alert forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. We do want to get to that breaking news. A Capitol Police officer and suspect both dead after an attack on Capitol grounds. Another officer is in the hospital with severe injuries. The slain officer is identified as William Evans. He is an 18-year U.S. Capitol Police veteran. NBC says law enforcement officials identified the suspect as a 25-year-old from Indiana named Noah Green. Want to take you now to a live look at the scene in Washington now. The Capitol complex was on lockdown. That was lifted, though, just over half an hour ago. Police say the driver of a car rammed into a checkpoint near the Capitol, then came out with a knife in hand. The suspect lunged at the officers. That is when they fired shots at him. Fencing that was up near the checkpoint to prevent cars was just recently taken down. The two officers and the suspect were all taken to the hospital, where the suspect and one of the officers died. All of this comes as Washington is still on guard after the January 6th attack on the Capitol. The Capitol Police Chief says they aren't able to release any names officially yet.
This has been an extremely difficult time for U.S. Capitol Police after the events of January 6th. And now the events that have occurred here today. So I ask that you keep our U.S. Capitol Police family in your thoughts and prayers.
Officials say the attack does not appear to be terrorism related. The White House press secretary says President Biden is, quote, aware of the incident. Congress is in recess today, and most lawmakers, though, were not at the Capitol. More breaking news now. The MLB is moving its All-Star game out of Atlanta over Georgia's new voting law. The game was scheduled for July 13th at Truist Park in Atlanta, but MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred announced the decision today to move the All-Star events, as well as the amateur draft, which had been scheduled to be held in Atlanta for the very first time. He says, quoting here, Major League Baseball fundamentally supports voting rights for all Americans and opposes restrictions to the ballot box. The Atlanta Braves say they weren't part of the decision. They released a statement saying they will, quote, continue to stress the importance of equal voting opportunities, and we had hoped our city could use this event as a platform to enhance the discussion. The supply of homes on the housing market, it is hitting a historic low nationwide. Interest rates, those are also low, so buyers are flocking to the market, causing prices to rise. Our Sydney Heiberger shows us the local market is feeling this big time.
Local realtors tell me homes are going under contract within days, if not hours, of hitting the market, and they say buyers are willing to pay just about anything to get in. Broker and owner of Pink Realty, Ryan Stanton, says in the past 6 months alone, the supply of homes in the CSRA has dropped about 14%. Prices, he says, have gone up about 5%. Buyers are waiving their appraisal contingencies and forking over as much cash as they can just to be able to get into homes while interest rates are low. Builders are working fast, but COVID has driven up the price of materials. The good news, things here aren't nearly as bad as other metro areas.
If you're a seller looking to sell, yes, now is the time. We have buyers everywhere. They want your house. If you're a buyer, just be patient.
Think back to around 2008 where we saw that housing bubble burst. Local realtors tell me they're concerned for something similar, but hopefully not nearly as bad. Tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're talking about those predictions for the future. Reporting in Augusta, Sydney Heiberger on your side.
The first week of testimony has wrapped up in the murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Today, jurors heard from the most senior officer in the Minneapolis Police Department about the department's use of force and when such measures are necessary. Jamie Yukas is in Minneapolis for us.
If your knee is on a person's neck, that can kill him.
The Minneapolis homicide investigator called to the crime scene hours after George Floyd's death testified former police officer Derek Chauvin's treatment of Floyd defied department policy.
What is your view of that use of force during that time period?
Totally unnecessary. Pulling him down to the ground, face down, and putting your knee on the neck for that amount of time is just uncalled for.
On cross-examination, Lieutenant Richard Zimmerman faced more questions about the use of force.
In a fight for your life, you as an officer are allowed to use whatever force is reasonable and necessary, correct?
Yes.
But Zimmerman said Chauvin's actions went against his training.
Have you ever, in all the years you've been working for the Minneapolis Police Department, been trained to kneel on the neck of someone who is handcuffed behind their back in a prone position?
No, I haven't.
Zimmerman said he watched eyewitness videos and police body cams that captured Floyd's struggle.
Based on your review of the body cams, did you see any need for Officer Chauvin to improvise by putting his knee on Mr. Floyd for 9 minutes and 29 seconds?
No, I did not.
Zimmerman also testified officers have a duty to render medical aid to detainees in distress. None of the officers on the scene attempted to help Floyd as he pleaded for his life. Friday's proceeding wrapped a week of emotional testimony from eyewitnesses, EMS workers, dispatchers, and Floyd's girlfriend. It's not known yet whether Chauvin will testify on his own behalf. The trial resumes Monday. Jamie Yukas, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Vaccines are becoming more easily available for adults. Now, Johnson & Johnson is getting the company's testing vaccines in teens. The company says it's expanded its phase 2A trial to include teenagers between the ages of 12 and 17. The study is looking at the safety and even the possibility of 2 doses. The trial is enrolling people in the UK and Spain, but will soon include teenagers in the United States, the Netherlands, and in Canada. If you've been out and about, you might have noticed some busier roads. The Masters Week traffic plan started today to help manage all the extra cars. It's a bit different, though, than a normal Masters Week. The I-20 exits onto Washington Road will actually stay open this time. Berkman's Road will stay open for 2-way traffic throughout the week. Traffic engineers say it'll just feel like a busy rush hour. They'll keep an eye on the roads from their cameras so they can manually control traffic lights if backups happen. And of course, with the Masters just around the corner, the Champions Dinner is coming up too. Dustin Johnson, he tweeted his menu last night. They will be dining on pigs in a blanket, lobster and corn fritters for appetizers, filet mignon, and sea bass. They make up the main course. They'll finish off with peach cobbler and apple pie with ice cream. The Champions Dinner happens the Tuesday of Masters Week. Local healthcare workers at the front of the fight against the pandemic getting some love today. Every employee at Doctors Hospital got offered the opportunity for a free car wash. Sykes Pressure Washing says they know how much healthcare workers have been through and how crowded our hospitals still are. So they wanted to do something to make employees' days a little brighter and allow them to focus on family and downtime.
Just to show our appreciation for all the hard work they've done throughout the pandemic, and just show them that they have the support of our community and all the small businesses that are a part of this.
In all, about 10 businesses offered their help to put today's event on. When we were out there around 1 o'clock, they had already washed about 60 cars, getting all that nasty pollen off our vehicles, right? Nurses at the Georgia War Veterans Nursing Home getting some support too. Building unity in the community, sponsoring a catered lunch to show their appreciation. Nurses ate lunch from the beefed up food truck. Building unity in the community will be doing the same thing for educators, fire and rescue, and police departments as well. The movie that's been filming in Augusta wrapping up production here today. This is video from Monday when our News 12 team saw Mel Gibson out on Broad Street. That's him there in the trench coat holding a gun, if you can see it. The downtown roads are all now back open. But how cool to have Mel Gibson and crew in town. A military training doubles as a recovery mission off the Georgia coast. When we get back, how the community got to watch all of it unfold. Riley?
We do have freeze warnings in effect again tonight into early Saturday morning. Take a look at those low temperatures heading into Easter weekend next.
Explore the selection at GeraldJonesLincoln.com.
Military training. It's usually done in secret, but one Georgia Aviation Battalion did training exercise in plain view of the public. And Kim Guerrera shows us that mission also helps the community.
It was not a show of strength off the South Georgia coast, but it was a show, a rare chance for civilians to watch military training that doubled as an actual recovery mission.
I'm not used to having non-military people watch me do my operations. It made the excitement a little bit higher, and it also made me a little bit more nervous.
The introduction of nerves helped the operations off Ossabaw Island last week simulate unexpected challenges of a combat cargo lift. But the rare training in public also had a public benefit.
During Hurricane Dorian, a number of buoys had washed up on some of the beaches just south of Savannah, St. Catharines Island and Ossabaw Island in particular.
The 2-3 Aviation Regiment, a General Aviation Support Battalion, retrieved those buoys last week with 8 missions over 2 days in conjunction with the Coast Guard and the local community.
Normally we can train that out in one of the stage fields at Fort Stewart, lifting concrete blocks which are purpose-built for training sling loads. And so it was really neat for us to work with the local community. The St. Catharines Foundation worked with us, surveyed what we were trying to do, and we showed them exactly how we were going to come in and out, minimizing any possibility of damage to the island.
The buoys were an ideal tool to train crews for what they would usually be lifting.
We can also carry mixed bags full of food, medical supplies, ammunition or other items.
But they were not good for the beach, where Dorian's high tide had deposited and stranded them.
They're made out of foam materials and steel, so that they can withstand the harsh environments of the ocean, and they would have been there for quite some time.
But they were removed quickly and successfully over 2 days with 8 missions helping train 8 different aviation crews using Chinook and Black Hawk helicopters.
It went flawlessly for me. We always plan for contingencies in any mission that we do, and this mission we had to use 0 of those contingencies.
Pretty cool stuff there. The commander says they'd have to fly those hours anyway, and they also have to get some water training, which means the mission was helpful for everyone. How neat is that, Riley? That's a lot better than moving cement blocks from an empty field. This was also, too, a little bit more realistic for them, too.
100%, a great way to kind of get them involved and get a task done to where everyone kind of needs it moved anyway. So yeah, great teamwork there, and pretty cool shots there from the helicopter along the coast. Well, if you were up early this morning, you definitely know it was very cold out there. These were a look at the coldest low temperatures early this morning across the CSRA. Lincolnton was the top spot, got all the way down to 26 degrees. Even in North Augusta, 28, Evans, 29, Fort Gordon, 29 as well. So everybody was definitely feeling the chill, and we're expecting to be just as cold, if not possibly 1 or 2 degrees colder waking up Saturday morning. So a little bit better conditions tonight compared to last night for us to cool down. We are expecting those low temperatures to be as low as the mid-20s if you live north of Augusta, most likely staying in the low 30s if you live south of Augusta. So here in town, we'll kind of be right in the middle. But this is a first alert situation. Just want to let you know that we do have these freezing temperatures expected again tonight. Just protect those sensitive outdoor plants and make sure your outdoor pets have a way to stay warm as well. Here's a look at those low temperatures for your Saturday. Expecting upper 20s, low 30s. Looks to be a good bet for many of us. Definitely cold enough to harm any sensitive vegetation. So once again, if maybe you planted some tomatoes or peppers earlier this year in the ground, definitely cover those because those will be the first to go in these cold temperatures. Not quite record levels, but definitely within a few degrees heading into Saturday. Likely going to stay away from that record Sunday, but temperatures waking up Easter Sunday still going to be on the cool side into the mid-30s. But your Easter weekend should be beautiful. We're expecting abundant sunshine on your Easter Sunday. We'll most likely stay mostly sunny on Saturday. Just a few high-level clouds start to roll through later into the afternoon. But nice weather in store, folks, the next several days. No rain in the forecast until we get to next week. Most likely going to see those rain chances go up by next Thursday.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Taking you live now to the Laney Walker Farmers Market, the spring grand opening. You can go enjoy live music, crafts, and activities for the kids, and of course, local vendors and produce. The market doubles your SNAP benefits too, which means when you swipe your SNAP card, you get $2 for every $1 spent. It is at 850 Laney Walker Boulevard, and get out there and enjoy. All right, we all know Google has personal information about us. That's no surprise, right? But just how much data are they collecting? When we get back, how you can find out, and then how you can delete it. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're an Apple person or an Android person. We all know those companies have information about us. Well, a new study says Android phones gather and send 20 times more personal data to Google than iPhones sell to Apple. Jamie Tucker shows us how easy it is to find what info Google has on us and how we can delete it.
We all know by now your smartphone knows when you're home.
It also knows when we leave and where we're going, and it sends that information back to Apple and to Google. But this new research shows that Android phones send a lot more information to Google than iPhones send to Apple.
Whether you have an Android device or iPhone, you should take a look at what Google knows about you. Go to myactivity.google.com to see it. It's a treasure trove of information. Based on my web searches and other online activity, Google knows my age, knows I like home improvement, alternative music, knows which sports I like, and coffee and tea. Not from information I've actually given to Google, but the company knows this because it can see which websites I've visited. Google knows where I've been, saving those locations down to the exact address because Location Services is turned on my Android device. Google knows every YouTube video I've seen going back forever. For example, it knows that 10 years ago I watched this rather curious video of a Lawrence Welk show.
One talk over the line, sweet Jesus, one talk over the line.
Take a look at your own activity. You can delete the information from Google servers and even prevent your device from sharing and storing the information in the future.
I encourage you to check your account for yourself by going to myactivity.google.com and make any changes that'll make you feel a little better. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
That's actually terrifying that they can know what videos you watch years ago. Well, Google disputes the findings of the report from Trinity College in Ireland. Google says it was based on methods that incorrectly measure the data collected by other operating systems. But hey, still worth checking what they know about you. A neighborhood birthday party celebration in Texas, but not for one of their own. Instead, this party is for an honorary neighbor who comes every day, snow, heat, rain, or shine. The community says Mail carrier Ronald Terry goes above and beyond the call of duty, making a special occasion out of delivering the school district's annual letters, chasing down runaway dogs, and even once returning a toddler who had wandered out the door.
I think that's just such a great example for our kids and our community of what it is to be a part of the community and to give back.
The party was Mardi Gras themed in honor of Terry's roots. How great is that? And you know what? He was probably super important during the pandemic, delivering all those Amazon boxes, Riley, and all those online shopping boxes.
100%, and all those stimulus checks as well.
Yes.
All right, we are keeping an eye on the weekend. It's Easter weekend. We're looking at fantastic conditions if you need to wash the pollen off your car. Then look at that 7-day forecast just after the break.
I want to update you on some breaking news. North Augusta firefighters are battling a structure fire on Chalet North Court. It was reported just before 5 o'clock. There are at least 3 patients, possibly more. Officials are reporting heavy fire in the interior of the building. That's all the information we have now, but crews are on the way, of course. We will update you as soon as we get more. Riley?
All right, let's take a look at our community calendar. We do have Columbia County's Easter egg scramble going on tomorrow. You can go to Patriots Park with your kids to get photos with the Easter Bunny. You get to see a magic show and even shop from a variety of vendors. Great time out there tomorrow. That's going to be from 10 to 1, and it is free. There are different time slots for different age groups, which you can find on our community calendar on WRDW.com. Remember, we do have a first alert in effect for some freezing temperatures early Saturday morning. The rest of your Easter weekend does look beautiful. Lots of sunshine into early next week.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Richard Rogers walking in the studio right now. He's joining us in a few minutes, so don't go anywhere.